and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are very welcome to a wonderfully wet and wild Windmill. This is the first game of the mixed division, and I get to be the first person to introduce you to it. I am, of course, Lookfly, and I am joined by the wonderful, the inimitable Sarah Sparks. How are you feeling this morning?
I am feeling very good, very excited to see what Masala Chai and Flo have to offer in this game. Gonna get very wet, but I'm super excited to watch this game.
It's a situation that we're well versed in, as I'm sure many of the people watching at home are, watching Flo go to work against what you have to believe is an unfamiliar enemy. Taking their time, slowly getting used to the wet disc. A common occurrence here at Windmill, especially on the Friday. Flo operating out of Wrocław in Poland. Doing a good job working their unders, using the open side. Lots of juking and jiving down in the open side. Forced to go with the dump around, swing it calmly. Shot off again. It'll be interesting to see how these teams react to such an unknown quantity as Masala Chai over the course of this tournament. As Flo are just taking their time, keeping it fundamental. Looking pretty good in the morning.
Yeah, looking really good with the disc, especially with this weather. It's very, very wet right now. Masala Chai coming out in forced middle, hearing the calls from the sideline, but Flo don't seem too bothered by it. They're just working what they're given and getting those free unders.
Do seem to be taking what is available. The first rule when feeling out your opponent's defensive strategies.
These conditions.
The vast majority of Masala Chai, I believe about 17 of their players coming all the way from India for the tournament. Hearing about Windmill. And there's a little drop. Unfortunate, perhaps nerves early in the game as Flo get a chance to put in their offense one more time. It's now right outside the end zone. The sideline roaring instructions to the force. Almost gets across in the poach D as they continue to push them inside. I'm very excited. It's always like a little treat. Never really seen them before. I've seen India play at a couple of different tournaments. India mixed at the World Championships the last time that came around. It was the first time I'd ever really seen a team from that part of the world. So now, how do they do on the green grass of the Netherlands? A beautiful around, right into the space. Comfortable. Well, there's a call for a travel. A rule forced to come back. Quick restart. As the dump down the line goes for the huge shot all the way to the end zone. Plenty of float, plenty of time. Huge layout, but it just bounces out of his hands.
Great commitment there from the Masala Chai player, but also really great commitment there from number 14 from Flo. They were just neck and neck the entire time. Knew that they was going to put their body on their line. It's just a little bit too far out in front. It's going to be really hard to catch these slippy discs and maintain possession when you hit the ground.
I like those kind of plays, though, showing off for the people back home, trying to do them proud. Everyone back in India cheering on this team. As Flo playing through the contact, excellent grab, plucks it off the ground. Still on the sideline though, looking to work their way off it. And that's what they did so well with their O-line, their D-line showing the same resilience, just swinging it when it's the right call. Beautiful little inside dish. The deep shot's on, he takes it, and we get a rematch from the other end of the pitch. But a bit of a misread.
Yeah, ever so slightly needs to go to the right. But I did like the option. At the beginning of that point, the girls were going deep as well. They were clogging the space a little bit. Their cuts a little bit too deep. But once they cleared that space, they opened it up. And like you said, just a slight misread. It's going to be a nice little matchup between the two.
It is always fun when you see particular players start to really test each other, start to find that challenge early in a tournament, getting their legs under them. In that weird zone where you're not tired yet, but you also haven't quite hit your stride. Now Masala Chai get another look. Rain constantly pouring down. Open side working hard. Nobody able to get free. And a huge block right in the end zone. Beautiful stuff, almost to Callahan.
I thought she was even going to go for the layout bids for the Callahan, do it for the crowd, do it for the stream. But forced enough pressure on the Masala Chai player just to drop it. Great setup to be right outside your end zone. And bookends for the score.
I love that look right in the front corner of the end zone. Just going to ISO one player. I thought Masala Chai did a good job shutting down the first look on it, but sticking with it and getting the score in the end. So that's 2-0 to Flo. Masala Chai still trying to get out of the blocks. It's a really crushing defense that Flo were able to play on them.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think they've really, really struggled to get free. A lot of their girls, there's quite a lot of height mismatches. The Poles being slightly taller than their Indian counterparts, and they're just really struggling to get free. Quite aggressive in the sense of it's quite a bit of contact already.
Good.
Playing rugby all of a sudden? No, it's fine. If they're both fine with it, that's absolutely fine. But we have noticed that, Masala Chai decided to call 4 women. So this will be an interesting setup, seeing as we know that Poland like to do the same. So now we're going to have a good idea of the battle of the women.
You were talking about the mismatch just there, so what do you make of this decision to go with the 4 women? As you can see looking across the line, not the most imposing of stature.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether they're thinking about the men, whether they're thinking about the matchups with the men. If sometimes it's cool to call 4 women if you know that your matchup with your men are less strong. So it'll be interesting to see whether that has a play with it or whether the girls are very nippy and are just going to dominate this offense.
Let's see if Masala Chai can find a way to play themselves into this game. Unfamiliar territory, unfamiliar conditions. There's a lot of experience on this team. I actually found out from talking to them just before the game that it was the IUPA who put in the bid. And then once they had the bid secured for Windmill, they went about picking a team out of everybody who signed up. So a collection from all over India and a couple of expats. Oh, and another brilliant D. Flo are just locked in the morning. And now they just take their time. There's nothing rushed. Always the right amount of separation from their players. Quite confident they'll be able to get free whenever they need to. And doing so.
Yeah, Flo does look very confident. It's interesting that you say that, Lorcan, because if they've only picked people as a consequence of a bid being placed by the Indian Association, that might mean that they're not so well gelled together. They don't know each other as well. Flo, established team, train every week. They're going to find these connections and they're going to go for the quick turnovers. If you're going to make a mistake, they're going to pick it up and they're going to score. So hopefully then this will be an opportunity for Masala Chai just to get to know each other a little better, figure each other out, get used to the conditions, wake up, first game. If you've been in the tent, you had maybe a bit of too much fun last night, just trying to get yourself sorted.
You can't have too much fun. Maybe like detrimental amount of fun, sure, but I don't know if that's too much fun.
It's always fun here at Windmill.
I actually, very late last night, found the little squared off area where all the toys are, like the penny farthing, which I've always wanted to ride, is ludicrously difficult to ride. Can't ride it, don't know what I'm doing. But just another example of one of the many things you can do here at Windmill.
You could also work on stilts, which I did see. Looks incredibly dangerous. Don't know how anyone didn't roll their ankle. And you can also bounce on the trampoline without a net. So wondering how many people are going to fall off that tonight.
Well, I love it because they're like, look, oh, we're back into the game. And if you're willing to take a risk, then that will be on you. That's the rule of Windmill. Is there's the risk over the top. Works out beautifully. So Flo switching things up here and coming out with a zone, hoping to maybe gum up Masala Chai and stop them from getting comfortable, but they are coming out immediately firing. That's the captain with the disc in hand. Nice pop over the top, comfortably taken down despite the pressure, but not getting a whole lot of penetration through the zones there.
No, they're just swinging it back and forth. There was just a little pop to the wings. A little bit of a slip and I think an injury call. Oh, really unfortunate.
Early in the game.
Hopefully he'll be okay, but it was just a bit of a slip. Although, I think if he has caused an injury, he does need to go off the pitch.
He does. You can understand his reluctance too. You're finally here. I can still remember the first time I walked into a Windmill and I was absolutely amazed by the sheer scope and audacity of it. As here comes Masala Chai. Looking to get a little bit audacious themselves. With a beautiful around the pass. What a block! Massive layout, scoops it up. You have to think he lay that trap.
Yeah, he knew that was coming down the wing. They left a girl completely open in the end zone, but they weren't fussed at all. And now off they go on offense, using a bit of 3-4, looking for a deep option, but it's not coming.
Something Flo are doing fantastically is waiting and trusting their cutters with a second or third movement to get free on the open side. And a hammer right back in the rainy conditions. Comfortably collected for the score.
Cheeky little hammer over the top. I'm glad Masala Chai also did the same in the zone. Took a few overhead shots. There's regardless of what it's doing with the weather, with the rain, it's actually not windy. So with the zone, you have opportunities for scubas, hammers, blades. Of course, then the downside to that is it is wet. Those are going to be quite hard to catch. But absolutely should go ahead for the crazy throws, because also it makes you look really cool on the stream.
It does, and as we all know, how you're interpreted online does completely determine how you're interpreted in life. Like, if you're not doing well online, are you successful in life, Sarah? A woman who has hundreds of Twitter followers.
Someone who hasn't used Twitter for about 3 years. Yeah. No, well, I think give it to Masala Chai. They're keeping their heads up. Not their most of ideal conditions. They just need to just find a click. Hopefully this timeout is going to do them some good.
4-0 down, good time to call one. It's a tough draw to have to come up against one of the favourites of this tournament. But we can make no secret of the championship aspirations held in Wrocław by this Flow team. Do you think they've got much of a shout?
For Windmill, I definitely do. Just watching these first few points, really, really smooth offense. I think the mixed divisions are open this year. We don't have that many national teams, and a lot of the national teams here in Europe seem to be favouring.
It seems like it's a single gender kind of year.
Yeah.
It kind of goes like that. Sometimes a lot of teams seem to favour mixed, sometimes a lot of teams seem to favour single gender.
Yeah, I would definitely say with respect to people like, for example, the Irish, the Belgians, I'm just having to think, you know.
The Czechs?
Well, yeah, I'm not so sure about the Czechs, but I definitely know in those respects they've definitely gone for single gender. So the mixed division is going to be interesting. People like and Ireland, there's going to be really exciting matches, but that also blows the door wide open for a club team, a well-established club team, to come in and sneak a win from a national team.
Which is always fun, getting to play the David in a story against a Goliath. There's also quite a few pick-up-esque teams, traditional to Windmill. So it's really all up in the air in the mixed division here, and it's great to see something like an established club like Flow coming to the tournament and trying to start off their season the right way. In the rain, the way it'll probably end.
I'd be interested to know their aspirations, whether they're aiming for top 8 or see how they do, but have real good fun at the party. I think most of the teams who aren't on the national team will be doing that this weekend.
I think a couple of people on the national teams will as well. You got to sneak off and have some fun sometimes, as here comes that zone, and it is a big body zone. Imposing appendages all over the place. As Masala Chai are pushed further and further back into their end zone, just popping it back and forth.
Force a lot of passes in the hope that there will be a turnover. So it could be that somebody just doesn't get full control on that disc and just lets it slip. So worked for them last point, wouldn't be surprised to see it happen again this point.
I mean, why not keep it trucking? I don't think it'll be successful 2 points in a row. I think Flow just made a little bit of a mistake there. Masala Chai took advantage of the opportunity presented to them, which was excellent stuff to see. And it was good end zone offense from them, which is somewhere where we were kind of skeptical at the start of the game. We saw them maybe get a little bit penned in, get a little bit of those end zone eyes. That's a big pull. Always drifting in the wrong direction, unfortunately. So Flow, good to set up.
Let the disc hit the turf, let it get wet.
Popular tactic when playing against zone, or when inflicting zone on others. So you can see Chai seem to be setting themselves up in that manner. I like how Flow are sending somebody all the way down to the deep space, just to make sure you have to respect that. So I would certainly believe they'd be happy to hit it. That one was almost blocked. So Chai may have found a chink in the armor of Flow's offense. Sarah wildly gesticulating at the space.
There's a lot of space on the other side of the pitch, and there is no one there. The deep is not bitten on the deep. Girls currently running back and forth in the end zone. There's a lot of space in front of him, but Flo are now working it up. He's going to have to commit. She's fully by herself. Go for a cheeky ham and you could hit her.
Seems like he's almost marking 2 Flow women, one on either side of him, deep and under. As Flow themselves are content to just use the extra space. Pass back and forth, there's the big hammer to the end zone! Brilliantly taken in. She was always a threat, and in the end, she proved herself a worthy one.
knew she was going to be spotted eventually. Thought they might have taken that risk a little bit earlier, but brought the disc close to the end zone and had 2 against 1. So always knew someone was going to get it, but good to see that it wasn't a waste of time just standing in that end zone for that point.
Which so many times it can become one. It was a brilliant hammer though, because in fairness to the deep defender, he was in about as good a position as you could be in, had his opportunity to take it, but it just was always that little bit too far away.
I've also been in that position where I've been the one stood in the end zone trying to be the deep threat, and then a turnover happens and you have to pelt it as hard as you can to the other side of the pitch, because lo and behold, the next girl is on the other side.
Oh, never thought about that in case they're doing the same tactic. Yeah, and you have to go all the way from end zone to end zone. See, this is why I'm a handler who very rarely goes deep.
Well, that was the past Sarah Sparks. Well, in the
Sarah Harris.
yeah, Sarah Harris, really.
Yeah. Sarah Sparks.
Sarah Sparks, completely new player.
Sprints everywhere.
Not so sure about that.
Well, sprints to some places. Places that have chocolate.
Flo are currently off the sideline having a quick discussion about how to get through the zone. Talking about mentally being prepared for it. But now we will see Flo coming out on defense. And lo and behold, I called it, it's man.
It has to be. When they've torn apart their zone, they go for the deep shot straight away, but that came out crooked. I believe that was a slippery decision. As now Flo, the opportunity to go right back at Masala Chai. Keep building the impressive lead that they had earlier on. No cuts coming immediately of your head. And you think, no, I could have had so much glory.
Also, it's kind of a shame because the play's really gone on. It was about 4 passes ago. So it's always a bit awkward when you catch the disc and you start celebrating, but everyone's looking at you like, no, it's not a score.
Oh, it's the worst feeling. It happens in almost every final. Somebody scores and there's just this like half the team are going, wait a second. Very interesting. Do you have any, well, we'll wait until after the end of this point to talk about potential picks for who impresses you in the mixed division here at Windmill. There's Flo continuing to work it. Comfortably smooth. They've got great use of space. I think that just comes from knowing each other and knowing their system. Swinging it back into the middle. I am a sucker for a good dump swing, and these guys love it. Not forcing the break. Instead, a beautiful leading pass, but just not enough air underneath it. Drops to the ground.
I thought she was going to leave her feet. It was just floating nicely above the ground. The ground is wet. It's perfect layout conditions. Just hesitated. Bit of a shame, as you just said, Lorcan. Really, really nice swinging in front of the end zone. So I think there'll be a bit of determination to get this disc back.
Let's see how that determination serves them as Masala Chai want to get a few more points on the board, want to do India proud. The first Indian team to ever attend Windmill. This is the first game they've ever played in. And they're blocking each other.
Yeah, a bit of a miscommunication there. I think number 6 thought she had a good play on the disc and number 15 didn't see her at all. Bit of a frustration spotted there on the pitch.
So Flo going for a wonderful inside backhand break and not making the same mistake as Chai.
Oh, that was beautiful. It nearly kissed the top of the grass and just curved right in space. Had 2 choices there, but better communication there from Flo. They actually called who was going to catch that one on. So just Flo looking really, really strong in this game.
The throw was so smooth. I thought he didn't mean to release it there. I thought it was an accident. Just scooping up on the ground, sitting up with plenty of time to get under it. So they definitely look like they have a chance to go all the way.
Yeah, so you're asking me who I think my top picks are.
Who do you like? Who do you like in the mixed side?
It's a good question, really. So obviously, I can't really start without talking about Krantz. However, unfortunately, Benno is tore his ACL. And Lauco van der Weijden is always a bit hit and miss with his injuries. So he sometimes chooses to sit games, he chooses to play, sometimes plays part of the game, not all the game. They've also not got Iris Leininger, who's always been a steady force on their O-line. So I definitely think they would reach semis. Whether they'll hit the final, though, I just don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
that
a
little
big
faith
call.
in the infrastructure of Rut. Playing at home.
I do think that helps, but I just do think that also Ben and Lauco are really big cogs in that team. And then other teams I'm thinking about, Colorado, always strong in the mixed division, but I'm wondering how many of that team have gone to Germany mixed.
Huge shot straight away, all the way down to the granddaddy of Masala Chai, coming all the way to Europe for this tournament.
Oh, that was a good throw. That
Beautiful
was a
score.
really great huck throw there from Masala Chai. I think they need to just exploit that more. Use your tall players and attack the deep space. Catch them by surprise.
So fighting their way back into this, keeping it close, and that's the kind of galvanizing score. You get it quick. Exactly what you wanted to happen happens. You start to believe maybe some of the other stuff we want to happen could happen too.
Certainly, and for those who are not familiar with how Windmill works, this is based on a Swiss draw. So that's an algorithm that figures out from seeding who should have close games and who shouldn't, as we just see this on the replay.
Not even close on the shot. Nobody near him.
So the algorithm works that you have a pre-seeding prior to the tournament, and then in theory, for example, if team 1 plays a lower seeded team, they should be expected to beat them by a very high margin. So every point counts, especially if you've got a lower seeding. So if you have a tight game against somebody who's seeded quite highly in the tournament, you will shoot up the rankings. So as you mentioned, Lorcan, Masala Chai fighting for every point. I do think that every point they get on this flow team is going to really help them in the rankings.
That's going to be another break. Rather impressively taken down by that man. But I think that's one of the best things about the Swiss draw. Every single point counts. So even if you're 14-0 down, you go, well, I'd rather be 14-1. You actually get something tangible from it rather than just pride. As here come Flo, setting up in a 2-5. I'm a sucker for fundamentals. Dump swinging in 2-5, I love it. I love it so much. There's lots of communication. As you see Masala Chai growing into this game with every passing point, talking to each other more, listening to each other more, which I always think is the harder thing to do with a team you're unfamiliar with. There's plenty of float on that one, taken down with style. Popping it back into the middle. Swinging all the way around. Flo very confident. Pristine in their white. Good switch on defense to try and generate a turn. Although that is unfortunate. As you see their captain, Siva Subramanian, seems to call foul. Oh, it was a pick. For a second there I thought he was going to have to come off injured, but he stays on. Bit of talk about where the disc is going to go. One of the things when there's these kind of patchwork quilt teams that are made from people from all over a particular area, you kind of see the individual knowledge and experience in each of them. Like some of them will start shading or trying to play help defense when the rest of the team isn't quite aware of it. And there's a stall out call. Uncontested.
I'm just wondering if that's even possible, because was it a pick call before this? Because if that's the case, it's coming in on 6. That was a very quick 4 seconds, but I'm not really sure. There's a bit of discussion on the field. Not also sure what rules India use. I'd be interested to know if they use woof duff or USAU. I would assume potentially woof duff, but I'm not entirely sure. So the disc seems to be.
I did see a Masala Chai player do the tap the disc down when bringing it in from out of bounds earlier, which is a USAU rule, but that could just be because he's watched too much USAU streams. Huge shot, but was always going down. Oh! Almost collected on the second opportunity, and there you get a hug. You deserve it.
Oh, that would have been absolutely huge. She managed to keep stability of that disc. There was just no spin on it. Had some flubberguts action there, caught it, and then ground stripped herself. So unfortunate. Just really.
A little bit too late. Excellent heads-up defensive pressure coming in, stealing it away. Always a danger to go down that line too many times. The window closes quickly. Beautiful feed. Deep shot available and taken. No defender in the area. Lots of float. And a great score. So the pole's back in pole position.
And that is actually the half as well. So that was just really, really clean. Again, from Flo, using that deep space, they don't clog it too much. Sometimes they do hack out a bit deep, but you never, what you don't see, and what happens a lot in mixed ultimate, is a girl going deep and a boy following her. Masala Chai don't quite have that heads-up defense, So when a girl does go deep, she is actually free. So really nice to see the rain. Not a bad thing here. I think it gives you the opportunity to lay out, do these monstrous plays on the street that you might not do if the ground's so solid, and also a bit nicer for your feet.
Well, we saw one of those monstrous plays earlier on for Flo, a huge layout D when setting up the zone. I would like to see a bit more acrobatics, a bit more recklessness, shall we say?
A cartwheel here or there.
Yeah, you know, you got to
Handstand.
take advantage of the opportunity.
A death drop.
I mean, if you can do it. I don't know how you'd learn to do that. If you ever tried to do one, I'm terrified I'd just break my back.
Oh, you could have an accidental one. You slip on your knee and it just looks like you did one. Would not surprise me. I feel like we're going to see one at least this weekend.
There has to be, whether it was intended or not. Or we could just start tripping people. So Flo, ready to go. You can just see that they're here for business.
I saw it back when I came to 13-10. So anything goes in this tournament. The one major change of this tournament is that there is no longer cap +1. So game ends when the hooter goes. Draws are allowed at this stage. So this is going to be quite interesting to see if we end up with any draws at the tournament. I don't unfortunately think it might happen in this game, but definitely be really exciting to see how that last point really becomes vital.
Something I always love, and you see it every now and again when those kind of rules are enacted, is like the 10-second count is coming to the end. And you might as well throw it up no matter what the score is, because if you they're female throwers as well. At the start of the game, I would say that the Flo women were outplaying the Chai women, but I think the Chai women have started to settle in. They've actually managed to get a bit of separation downfield. A few of them able to get some big gaining unders, where before they just were locked in a cage. So let's see what the Indians can do. Collecting that one rather than let it go out for a break. Interesting decision. The two pillars of the Masala Chai O-line, it would seem. Beautiful break all the way across to the other side of the pitch. And going deep on the opposite side, but nobody sending it too much business down in that part of the pitch. Too busy. Well played here by Chai, taking their time, but there's another massive layout block.
That was absolutely huge there from the Flo player. You just saw Masala Chai swarm toward each other. High stalk out, everyone then went close together. I'm gonna fix this. But Flo, great defense.
And that for a moment looked to be rescued after the slightly errant dump pass, but ground stripped. Fantastic effort as here comes a deep shot. Although you gotta say it's probably gonna go the way of the Flo player. Good peeling off. You were talking about that earlier on, something that a lot of teams do that you haven't seen Masala Chai do. So now Flo just getting into a bit of a hucking battle, recognizing the mismatch. Gotta give props though, Masala Chai came close. And the walk-off score.
I have to say, given the height mismatch between the two players, I think the Masala Chai player did a really, really good job getting really high in the air. I'd love to see this on the replay. But yeah, anything you can do, I can do better. If you're going to hook it, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to hook it straight back. Bit of a contested throw, I would definitely say, but just total free option afterwards for Flo.
Manvi Sharma, number 33 for Flo, or for Masala Chai. For me, has been one of the most impressive players on this team. Offensively, he's been fantastic there. You saw him get a lovely break and then just sprint deep. It was well sniffed out and snuffed out. As here again, we see him going up, trying to get the block on the much taller Polish player. Yeah, he roofs him a little bit there. Look at this. Doesn't even look. It's just like, no, it's fine.
He's like, she's good. I'm off. I'm done.
Trust.
Quite over.
Because if that had been a turnover, that would have been rather embarrassing. Fun for us.
But definitely very
yeah,
embarrassing.
Yeah. Start taking timestamps for clips we want to put in the lowlights.
Love to see a good low light film from Wim, but I'm sure there'd be a lot.
Especially in these conditions. In the opening game of the tournament, as everybody is settling in. Windmill starting to rock, starting to roll. As here comes Masala Chai, and there's Sharma. Get the Smee. been very impressed with Sharma and Smee so far in this tournament, but there's another drop. Only the second so far for Masala Chai. So very unfortunate. Big recovery block. Fantastic stuff. Sprinting back. Getting in the passing lanes.
Oh, I love a
Ishta.
sneaky block D from a girl. Noticing the play and just getting involved.
No mistakes this time around, and there's the deep shot. Wonderful stuff. Acrobatically taken in. Looked a little bit of painful landing. Going for the stall immediately. She can't stall as he's walking to the front of the end zone. I love that knowledge. Sharma. There's nothing but pandemonium in front of him. Is he going to turn back around? He is. Smee there, ever reliable. You can see her telling everyone, calm down. You're all panicking. Everybody calm down. It's fine. And there, bounced out of the hands of Sharma.
She had a completely open dump if she turned around and spotted it. But like you said, they all panicked, all swarmed. I think they just need to have a little bit of a trust in each other. They're all good players. They're going to find a solution. Just one person needs to offer it.
Maybe they're just out there trying to pack stats. Trying to look impressive for the crowd back home. As here come Flo opening up, and that's another deep shot. Might be going a bit too far. So close to perfect, but not close enough. You see the frustration. I think that's because he didn't lay out. He kind of could have. If he didn't mind.
Could have, and it would have been a monster layout if he had caught it.
Like an out 3-foot drop to the ground, chest first.
But you'd slide all the way to the concrete wall behind as well. It's so wet. Perfect layout conditions.
It is absolutely fantastic layout conditions. It's always a great aspect of Windmill. Nice soft ground. As here comes Masala Chai again. Says no to the completely open under. Instead goes deep. They really like sending it deep to number 23. And it's worked out up until now.
Yeah, I just think that last throw was just a bit too zippy. Didn't have a huge amount of touch on it, and it was also in the same lane. So it's also really hard for him to read. I'm not against that choice because I do think it's a good choice and it works for Masala Chai. But if you've done it about 3 times at the same point, it's not worked out for you. You need to think about something else.
Especially if Manjula Deve is just right there in the open channel. Completely free, as you see the hair there come across to recover and put on the force. And Flo doing what they do best, just swinging it, attacking the space. Break side, open side. The cutters earn it. The handlers hit it. Bit of pressure there, forced to go with a high arcing dump pass. Gets it off.
And there's a call on the field. I think it might be a stall call.
They're going to keep playing, going for the Blady hammer. Let it go, retract the call. Too late.
Nah, it's a bit too late for that, ideally.
It would appear that because so few people recognized it, they're just going to let it go.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do like about Ultimate. There is always the trump.
Oh, no,
oh, maybe not. But there is the always trump rule of if you really think it didn't affect play, think about it. So if literally only 2 of you stop, but everyone else continues like madmen, you need to think about whether you're going to retract the call or not.
What would have happened should have happened, as a coach said to me once.
It's a good phrase. Like it.
Never trust a donkey you didn't train yourself was another one of his phrases. That one made less sense to me, but...
Violation call. Good use of hand signals. Do you like a good hand signal here and there?
It is nice.
It is nice. Helps us. Also helps the other players, but it does help us greatly.
Language barrier. A pleasant challenge to try and deal with here at Windmill because we have so many people from all over the world. So you see Sharma. He has Smee behind him. Somehow that one gets through, but it's dropped. Enough defensive pressure. Masala Chai not expecting to get the disc in the end. Hits him flat in the chest.
I always find those are the best kind of Ds, the ones that you think you got, but it just turns out they dropped it anyway. Such a relief when that happens.
As here come Flo. Screaming down the other way. Big blade. And this time, Sharma's able to get the block. He's just trying to put every bit of himself out on the pitch for his team. Seems like Smee will be the one to pick up the disc. Or nobody will.
Just leave it.
Ah, no, they're calling from a roll from further downfield. Mixing up a little bit with the handlers. Showing a few different looks, a few different throws, maybe.
Stack's very, very deep at the moment from Masala Chai. Looking to utilize the unders, but very deep. Gonna give them a little bit of clogging in the lane. Ooh, high pass, but taken easily.
This is great defensive pressure. Flow very comfortable working together and reacting. There's a huge shot to Arul. Beautiful float, well read, excellent stuff from Masala Chai. So now they find themselves right outside the Flow end zone. Sharma sprints all the way from where he launched that shot to reload. Stall's getting high. Smee goes down the line. Stay gets into Arul in the middle. Bit of contact, bit of conversation, uncontested. I love hand signals.
So you love a good hand signal. Strong here from Flow. They know that they need it. Ooh, a big arcing throw.
And again, a bit of a phantom D, just getting yourself in between the disc and the receiver. And even if you can't touch it, you might touch them in the head. Drive them a little mad.
What I've started to notice in this point is that the Flow girls are starting to poach quite a lot. I do think that Masala Chai can utilize that a bit more. Just look for their women as they are free quite frequently, and there's a timeout call.
I understand that decision. A lot of turns coming into this point. Flow maybe getting themselves a little clogged up. Starting to clear the pipes. Take a couple of seconds to collect themselves.
Not going to be much more time left in this game. We started nearly an hour ago, and as you mentioned, Morgan, games are shorter this year, so games are 70 minutes. I'm also not entirely against that decision. I've definitely played Windmill before, and 90-minute games are long, and especially in the women's division.
Oh yeah?
You have 4 today. Quite long.
Ooh, that is a lot of games.
Most of the time you could actually get to 50 within 75 minutes. So not totally opposing of this change, but also it's just, as you said earlier, just really nice so you can just enjoy the tournament.
I mean, they put so much work into all of the extras. The extracurricular activities available at Windmill, always exemplary, particularly so this time around. But right now we are focused on the action. Masala Chai coming to you from India, all over the country. Players coming together to play in Windmill, including a couple of expats from around the world as well, taking on Wroclaw Flow, a team with aspirations, I'd think, of championship glory this year. They've come close a few times, finished top 4. They've had their year being the surprise upstarts. So now can they have their year as an established power? As you see a bit of flossing, both of the physical and perhaps mental variety from Masala Chai during that timeout to freshen themselves up.
Yeah, you've also got to just stay positive, especially when you don't really know each other. It's your first game. You play against a good opponent. You just want to enjoy it as well, right? Like we're all
No,
here to have
this
fun.
is serious.
Very serious.
It's very
Frisbee.
serious.
You're being scrutinized on the stream.
You're embarrassing your family. They're watching the stream right now, cursing your names. No, of course, it's great to see people coming and having a great time at Windmill, just like we will. Cirque de Freak Chic. It seems to be the theme of the weekend, which I personally love.
I love it, but I'm not organized enough yet to get my costume sorted.
As here come Flow. Going with that blade. Lots of blades out here in the early morning. It's been vicious. But when they get this kind of look to their cutting, to their passing, they seem so crisp. Chai clamping down on the defense. It's Flow moving it back and forth. Lovely breaks. Nothing too forced, nothing too rushed. And there's always seems to be another cutter. They don't always take the option, but there is always a body being provided. That one a bit too far and kind of spooked herself a little bit. Ah, injury called, unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't think the disc was over her head, but I don't think she managed to get that push off that she really wanted, which jumped and just looked a little bit awkward. So an injury call here, and the Masala Chai defender just slapping it down. Yeah, I've seen the replay. It's just an awkward landing. Not sure if it was an ankle or knee. So hopefully she'll be all right.
So now Masala Chai with the disc back. Only 10 minutes to go, but distance to make up. Do they have the legs to run it? 4. As we wait for the game to restart. Sumesh or Sharma going off the team sheet. Oh, I apologize for not being able to get your names correct. So here comes Salachai. Very clamped, stuck on that sideline. Most of their players in the space. Forced to chuck it up deep, lots of people underneath it. You got it. No call, surprised by that. Very fair-minded, almost stolen away though. As here come Flo, trying to hit quickly, but there's no cutters downfield putting in that extra effort. Maybe starting to feel these initial 70 minutes of Windmill. Not a lot of continuation cuts happening. Flo have done a lot of the hard work, maybe just looking to see out this game in a relaxed fashion. Good switching down at the opposite end by Smee, taking the deep threats as they come towards her. But Flo just happy to swing it back and forth between their handlers. Now, patiently hitting that open side. Trying to clamp down, but no fear at all, willing to take that massive loss of yardage just to retain possession, keep working down that clock. They just seem at ease out there, and that was a wonderfully resolved take.
Yeah, and it was just taking their time, swinging the disc and looking for the open option. Like I said, they're prepared to lose yards, but still gain possession. And interesting that you say that they just want to take it calm and easy. As we said, we don't have that much time left, and they do have such a strong deep game. I'm a bit surprised they haven't hooked it a bit more, just to get that quick point on the board, force another point, get those points are so important.
That is the other thing we talk about, the winners. You don't want to just rest on your laurels once you've got a bit of a lead and see out the clock. You want to score as many points and make the lead as big as possible, pushing yourself up that seeding, working your way forward. I can't pretend to understand the magic of the algorithm convincingly, but I can certainly attempt to pretend to understand it, and I'm going to do that now. So the way it works is...
I don't even think the people who made the
Who
algorithm
designed
can
it?
explain it.
It's kind of feel like we're ancient people just offering up gifts to the gods. It goes, here's our points, mighty algorithm.
I've seen an explanation. It's like, if Jack and Jill went up the hill, how many points did they score in a Frisbee game? I don't know. It's like the explanation doesn't even really make sense. But it is done kind of on the premise that if you are seated next to each other, so let's just say 24th, 25th, you should have a sudden death game.
Oh.
So and if you're far away from each other, you should have a blowout.
Which is why there is a hearty measure of ass kickings doled out here on the Friday morning. But Masala Chai not taking theirs, sitting down. Standing up and showing the forces of Europe what they can do. Beautiful down the line throw. I do think they just stutter step a bit too much. They don't commit on their fakes the way that Flo do, so they have a difficulty getting up in space. And then that blade coming up short, a huge shot. That's what you were looking for earlier, Sarah. Oh, great tip D, but it's still available. And collected from the ground. But was he in?
He is in. There is a cone that looks like it's an out cone, but actually not really sure why that cone even exists, because the out is actually by the tents. So he had all the space in the world.
Oh, so it's just a decoy cone.
A decoy cone and a fantastic grab from number 14 for Flo. Unfortunately, we don't have the rosters, but he's had a great game.
Started off very strong, got a big D, got a big score on the opposite side of it. Very impressive player. Hadn't seen much of him for a while there, but then coming back on and getting that one. Unfortunately for Masala Chai. They came so close with the block. Let's have another look at it. Great D, gets up for it, but chase, never give up.
Gotta learn. You'll learn from the stream. You'll learn this very hard Frisbee lesson in life. Always catch your Ds. I do think he had the opportunity to potentially get there. Let's have a look again. Yeah, he swatted it to the right, hoping that'd be enough. But as I say, not a huge amount of wind, but you never know on these fields, and it's a little bit unfortunate there.
Well, that's the inexperience. He doesn't understand the deep resolve that everyone in Europe comes to expect from Polish outfits, as well as their experience, always looking to get those second chances. So Flow in a commanding and comfortable lead, 10-5. They're going to be taking this one into the next round and looking to continue to march their way up. I wanted to actually talk to you, we were talking about Rut earlier on. I think the French mixed team, they had a very impressive showing in Talampaya.
Also, G-Spot, they came second to a pickup team, which was a mix of very, very strong boys from Belgian Open and very, very strong women from Belgian women's team. So
surprising they didn't just make a Belgian mixed team.
No, they've decided, like we said earlier, to go single gender. So, and also I know in the open division they've decided to specialise in under 24. So, if you think about Yonkers brothers.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, and the fellers and things like that. Yeah,
yeah.
You can definitely see why you're putting your future there. That one almost collected, but just bouncing out of his hands and hitting the turf. Flo now maybe looking to rack up a couple more scores. D-line out there. And it's a tight beast. Great opening cup because I had a convincing fake at the start. Drops his defender to the ground. Breaking ankles. Breaking Indian hearts. Lovely inside. They're just taking their time. Patiently plying their passes down into the middle. I love the space they're creating. Now they go for that one. Beautifully done. Everybody on Flow just knows what they're doing.
They're just also really comfortable breaking the force. I think it's just really strong disc skills from everyone. It's not like they've got handlers that are outstanding and cutters who just want to dump it back. The cutters are also fully prepared to make those throws as well. And I think that just makes you a really, really strong team.
That's actually a great point, because something we consistently see with them is the confidence that just seems to exude across all 7 players. You never really get the feeling of somebody's caught the disc and you're like, they need to get it out of that person's hands and they need to do it soon. As we see again here, just the versatility. Everybody's giving a thrower space, making the right cut, giving them time. Wonderfully executed. And that's the kind of standard you need to have if you want to start winning tournaments in the mixed division. You can't have a glaring weak spot that people are able to zero in on. And once you feel comfortable with the disc in everybody's hands, you have a really legitimate threat at the top of the table. Very excited to see how this Flow team does over this season.
Over the weekend, just to kind of see whether this is just kind of an early, easy game and then they come against a really hard competitor. So in theory, next round, they do well. They're going to come up against a really strong team. Very much looking forward to the next stream, which will be Heist versus Cosmic Girls. I predicted some great play from both teams, so I am very excited to watch this next.
Cosmic Girls from Russia, Heist, coming all the way from the States. As here come Masala Chai. We have a lot of teams from all over the world. Because Black Jeep from New Zealand have also made the trip. Several other American teams. Hammer over the top. And the lessons learned in this game will really stand to Masala Chai as they look to go on in the tournament. The kind of throws you can afford to take on in these strange, very wet, slippery, but not at all windy conditions. We've seen them work excellently against the zone. This one seems to be going them up a little bit more. We've got a good few different people in the cup for Flow in this zone. Going with the all-women cup earlier on, introducing new players in and out of it. Possibly out of bounds, but in the end, no call made. As Chai continued to just swing it around.
Jingle's just gone for the end of the game, so this will be the final point.
Send it deep.
There's no rush in the final point. It's just whoever scores, it's game over now. So
I was hoping there'd be a rush.
You have 30 seconds to throw this disc. No. So if Masala Chai score this point, regardless, Flow have won the game. But is in Masala Chai's interest to score this point.
To keep it as close as possible. So will it end 12-5 or 11-6? It remains to be seen. Gold, pass it back to Smee, and gets back himself. Flow have done a fantastic job of kind of putting a cap on how deep into the zone the Masala Chai handlers can get just by swinging it. Really flattening them out, forcing them to take on harder throws in order to make it through. Not really respecting the deep threat. There was one brief burst of downward progression that seemed to get Masala out of their end zone to this part of the pitch. And then they've been stuck here for about 30 seconds to a minute now, just going back and forth. There's the hammer over the top. Rule tries to bring it in, but wonderfully D'd up. And then respectfully celebrated by number 19 of Flo. I always like that when somebody kind of gives themselves a little fist bump or something like that. Just like, yes. Like the Tim Henman. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did something good, yeah.
I'm the greatest. But quietly. Flo really loved that little dish. And there's a huge blade to the end zone for the winning point. Going with one hand. Trying to show off for the cameras, maybe. Doesn't work out.
Yeah, unfortunately, they just could have wrapped that game off, but no. We are continuing, as you mentioned, look at a one-handed catch. I just think at that point, just go for the firm win. I do think she could have got there too. Looking a little bit disappointed after dropping that.
So, Masala Chai with another look at another score. Becoming readily available. And that cup just slowly encapsulating their handlers. Trying to get the trap. Smee is well aware of what they're going for. You're not trapping me on the sideline. Pops it immediately. She's frantically running around. The stall count getting higher all the time. Definitely one of the most experienced players. Or one of the most resolute at least. Chai stuck in that end zone, a huge arcing blade all the way over, taken in. You're starting to think maybe they should have gone for that deep shot earlier. Beautiful stuff by Chai, pushing out the limits of the zone, testing the open spaces. I'd like to see a few more throws like that if you've got that much faith in your receivers. And the swinging again, 'cause the swinging wasn't really working out for them, it was keeping them flat. I think it was because Flo knew they didn't have to really respect the open players downfield, and there they are, the shots available, going for it, and the score! Congratulations to Chai, rare and ultimate where you score the final point and win the game. But that's what's happened here in the opening exchanges of the mixed division of Windmill 15. What do you take away from it, Sarah?
Yeah, good start from Flo, looking strong for the rest of the tournament. Masala Chai are just going to gel together, figure each other out, and also have a good time at the party.
And that's what we're going to do all weekend long as well. Keep it here on the YouTube channels as they're starting to realize that's game over. Congratulations, 11-6 to the Poles, taking on Masala Chai. Welcome to Amsterdam. Welcome to the stream. Keep it here for the next 3 days and you won't be disappointed.